So the 2014-2015 school year begins. There are 178 days left of school. I know some of you are feeling like this, but other of you are excited. I myself am excited. So this is the first Algebra 2 video, and I'm going to introduce myself to you a little bit. My name is Mrs. Irwin. I'm one of the Algebra 2 teachers, and I will be creating the videos for a while. This is my husband, Mr. Irwin. Some people call him Blaine. He thinks he's debonair, but the hat is really just to cover up his bald head. The bald head is from these three girls. Yes, they have caused many bald heads. This one is going to Finland to play volleyball. This one goes to school at Emory, and this one is a student here at CP. Through the course of the year, you'll get to know more about me and the other teachers, and we hopefully will get to know more about you. But for now, let's start enjoying math. So this video, and I'm sure you've already realized that this is not the first video. We added a quick unit of solving equations in the beginning, but I already had this partially recorded, so I'm not going to erase it. So this video is about lines, more lines. Y equals mx plus b. How many of you remember that from Algebra 1 and Geometry? Geometry does a great job going over lines. So I just want to really quickly go over some of the basics of lines here. So we have y equals mx plus b, where m stands for the slope, which is a rise over a run. B is the y-intercept. And this is where we start our graph. So in this example right here, 3 would be my slope. And if there's no run, this is a rise. If there's no run, I'm going to put it over 1, so there's a run. My y-intercept would be -5. So I'm going to take this -5, this is where I start, and go to the y-axis on my graph and go to -5 and put a point. And I'm going to keep my pencil right here, and I'm going to do from here my rise over run. Rise 1, 2, 3 over 1 and put a point. Rise 1, 2, 3, run 1, put a point. This is a positive 3 over 1, so remember that I can also make this -3 over -1 because the double negative when I'm dividing, negative divided by a negative gives me a positive, will also give me a positive slope. So from my main point here, I could also go down 3 and backwards 1. Once I have that in, I create my line, and I have graphed my line. What about something like this? Well, I'm going to solve for y. We learned that in the last week. So I'm going to circle, draw my line and circle my variable. I'm going to subtract the 3x over to the other side. And the 3x's cancel out. This whole -2y comes down. And remember, I can't subtract 8 and 3x, so I'm just going to put the 3x first. I can't subtract them because they're not like terms. I'm going to divide by the -2, and I get y equals, don't forget, the negative and the negative gives me a positive 3 over 2x, and this positive divided by a negative will stay -4. So my slope is 3 over 2, and my y-intercept is -4. I start at the -4, so I'm going to go to -4. My rise over my run, so I'm going to rise 3, run 2, rise 3, run 2, rise 3, run 2. I can also go down 3, run backwards 2. Down 3, run backwards 2, and you'll notice I'm still on the same line. We should be doing these as warm-ups in the morning, our math review, but we're going to write equations of lines also. Write an equation of a line that has a slope of -3 and a y-intercept of 8. Well, this particular one is the easiest kind because I know the equation of a line is y equals mx plus b. The slope is -3, the y-intercept is 8, so y equals -3x plus 8, and that would be my answer. But what happens when you get to an equation where it gives you the slope? So this would be my slope, but the point they give me is 2, -3. And if I quickly in my mind figure out where 2, -3 is, it's over here. This is not a y-intercept. This is just a random point on the line. So here is where we're going to use point-slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. You're going to want to make sure that you're pausing this video to make sure you get all the information down. Just pause it, write what's on the screen, and then play it again. If you miss something, just rewind. And I'm going to take, and I'm going to label my point x1, y1. My slope is going to go in there. I bet you can guess that the x1 is going in there, and the y1 is going in there. So I get y minus the y1 equals the slope times x minus x1. And this is called point-slope form. And a lot of times you're asked just to leave it at point-slope form. But if we're asked to bring it to slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, I need to go ahead and solve this out. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute. I'm solving for y. So I'm going to distribute. This is y plus 3 equals -3/4 times x. Now a negative times a negative is going to give me a positive, and this is going to give me positive 6 over 4, which is really 3 over 2. Now I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides, and I get y equals -3 over 4x minus 3 over 2. And this would be my answer in slope-intercept form. These are special lines, and in Algebra 2 they will really come into play a lot. So we really need to know these. This is a horizontal line, and this is a vertical line. Let's pause our video and go ahead and write that in. On a horizontal line, the slope is always equal to 0. And what I say is I can stand on this line and I can skate or ski. When I think of slopes, I think of skiing. So I can ski back and forth. So the slope of here is 0 because skiing back and forth on flat ground is going to be 0 fun. The equation of this line is always y equals the y that it goes through on the y-axis. Right here, I go through 4, so this equation is going to be y equals 4. On the right-hand side, over here, we have a vertical line, and the slope here is always undefined or no slope. What I always say here is if I try to ski down this line, by the time I get to the bottom, my legs are going to be over here, my body's going to be here, my head's going to be here. I'm going to be an undefined body. So the slope of a vertical line is undefined. And the equation of this is always x equals the x that it goes through on the x-axis. So this is negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is x equals negative 9.